Well, hello. It's time for another exciting episode of Pens in Use. This is the show where I talk about the fountain pens and inks I've been using throughout the week. It's now 2 weeks. It was not by plan or it was by accident. Had my wisdom teeth out, had to take amoxicillin for various reasons, and discovered the hard way that I'm allergic to amoxicillin. So I was not a pretty sight. I did not feel good. I didn't look good. And I just thought pens in use is not going to happen. But let's dive into it. Did you know that these cattle have no top teeth? That they eat by wrapping their tongue around the grass and pulling it out? That's among the things that I learned in my classes this week, and last week. So let's enjoy some Hereford cattle, and I spent the last 2 weeks in Casselton and in Valley City learning about math and science, and let's dive into some video. So let's dive into it. These are the pens I've been using this week from left to right. I have a Senator 210, two Pilot Custom 823 pens, a Pond Senior, a Waterman Carène, PenBBS 355, Parker Duofold, Centennial, and a Conklin word gauge. As always, I'll be doing my writing sample in this cognitive surplus. Remember how I messed up the exposure this last week? See, I got it right this week. Theory notebook. My first pen is this Senator. This mustard yellow caught my eye because I looked at, but don't worry, didn't buy, a similarly colored typewriter. Talked myself out of it because I do have restraint and I need a typewriter, like I need a hole in the head. Anyway, it's a Senator 210 made in Germany and a very retro mustard yellow color. Nice segmented ink window, and let's try that again. There we go. There's the nib. Got a limit to how close I can get. I forget that. So, not, one of their top of the line pens, but it's a perfectly good pen. And the nib, I see iridium point nibs, but this one actually says Senator on it. So I don't know if that means Senator made it or if it's just branded for Senator. Check that out. We got a little bit of line variation out of it. Not a lot, but a little. I don't know its size. I would guess a medium. I don't think it said on there, did it? I gotta look again. Got a loop here. Oh, it is a medium. Okay. So I should probably get a second loop for downstairs in my workshop. The ink in this is Atramentis, because I'm not worried about anything weird happening with this vintage pen. Violets. Doesn't smell like violets, but that's what it's called, and it is a scented ink. So this pen, let's do a little swatch. I always enjoy when a steel nib outperforms what you expect. This one, oh, wow, I kind of went haywire there. There we go. So nothing too crazy, but you can coax some line variation. So Senator, I don't know. Senators are rich, aren't they? Let's give them a top hat. I don't know how to draw a different kind of hat. Probably something I should learn, right? There you be. My next pen, still in use because I'm trying to use up the ink that's in it, is this Senator with a signature nib. Oh, sorry, not a senator, pilot. I had my wisdom teeth out, so I'm not firing on all cylinders, which I'm filming this part now. I'm going to film the me talking and you see my face part later, so you're not subjected to my chipmunk cheeks. Because I had 4 wisdom teeth out, and let's just say not one of the more fun experiences of my life. I absolutely refuse to ever do that again. So, Groenmarkt Smaragd, Greengrocer. Thank you for the reminder of things I can't eat, which includes fresh vegetables. Because I can't chew. I can mush stuff against the top of my mouth and maybe nibble at it with my front teeth. That's about it. Which, with how I cook and how I eat, is not doing it for me. So let's draw us a little wisdom tooth. They asked me if I wanted to keep. I'm like, no. But apparently some people must. So there's a wisdom tooth. I don't want to draw all 4 roots. They did show them to me that I was so groggy afterwards. I'm just like, yeah, that's nice. Just noticed on the side of this pen here that I just wrote with. I don't hope that's not a leak. That was going to be a survivor pen here. I'm thinking I just got some ink on it from the side of the bottle, but we'll see. We'll just leave that there. Move on. My next pen is another Pilot Custom 823. I just feel like they need to sit together. They're friends, you know. Well, not friends, relatives. This one's a little more fine. And the ink in it is Herbin. Sorry, I drew a blank though. There, it's written down. Herbin Bleu Myosotis, which is a very nice forget-me-not type of blue. Trying to think, there's something I should know about forget-me-nots, but it's not coming to me. I'm thinking they're like a real small blue flower with a yellow center. So it'd be cool, you know, if you could get blue with a little yellow highlight on it, but I don't think that's physically possible with fountain pen ink. That's why we art. So I don't know how many petals, but I'm thinking a flower kind of like this. Now just little ones, and then in the center is this yellow little bloop of happiness. And if I'm thinking of the right flower, it's a very small flower. If I'm thinking of the wrong flower, then, you know. Well, then I'm thinking of the wrong flower. What can I say? This is a fun pen. I was thinking the other day about pens I haven't written with for a while, and this came up. This was a Pond Senior. So this is a Norwegian pen. It's kind of like a Parker Vacuumatic, except this is a button filler. Very attractive brown finish. I don't know. I haven't been able to find out if they made their own nibs. But there is the nib. So, Pond Senior. My one complaint with this pen is it doesn't seem to hold ink very long. Wow, that is totally not the color I expected to come out of it. I'll tell you why here in a second. So the ink that I know I put in it is Robert Oster. Or Oster, I can't remember. Robert Oster Bronze. So I used up the last of my Lee de Tay that I've been using, which I like that brown a lot. Replaced it with this, and I don't like this brown a lot. Okay, nope, I don't think it's my imagination. Icky. In fairness, it probably is what it's meant to be. I'm just going to show you the top of the bottle here because it gives a preview of the color. 100% right here. So, yeah, I don't think it's a meep thing or a dirty pen. I think it's the actual ink. So, it'll be nice to use this pen up. So, let's do an old-fashioned doorknob. Give a plate on the door. I have, well, 2 of the doorknobs in my house. No, 3 of the doorknobs in my house are old-fashioned. The rest are more modern. 2 outside doors are modern. I've got an airlock entry in the back, and why am I telling you all this? Anyway, an airlock entry in the back, so the inner door is an old-fashioned doorknob, and then the bedroom has an old-fashioned doorknob, and the bathroom has a semi-old-fashioned doorknob. This is a Waterman Carène. And this is a pen. I was going to do a whole series of 5 Survivor pens. I had a camera to try out because I replaced the one that died. And anyway, I was downstairs and I filmed 2 videos with it and I said, nope, that is enough. Filming downstairs is not conducive to good pen photography. That camera is not conducive to good pen photography. Now that I've learned to use it, this one is. I do have to, it'll work better. Oops, the accent goes the other way. It works pretty well when you zoom in a lot. Just very pleasing. The ink here is... shoot. I know the color Olivastre. Oh, Callifolio. Just as I touched the computer to look it up. I think it's a very nice shade of green. When I use that bottle up, it may make a reappearance in my collection. For now, I'm all about using bottles of ink up. Because I have too many. Okay. So olives. I'm not a huge olive guy. I mean, I'll eat them, but they're not like a favorite. If I'm going to eat olives, I prefer the black olives over the green ones. But since we're doing our Olivastre, let's put a little pimento. So you need some orange or red or whatever color pimentos are. And again, I forgot the swirly doodle. My next pen, which you briefly saw there, is a PenBBS 355. It has a draw filler. This is one of the pens I filmed downstairs to do a revisit. Survivor pen. Last video I did with this was 7 years ago. It did not have this nib. It had a PenBBS nib. This is a Nemosine 0.6 nib. Makes the pen a lot more lovable. And the ink in it is, I'm running low on it, which is sad because I really like the color. But I'm also trying to use up bottles of ink. So when this runs out, I'll be happy. Even if I can't really replace it. Which is a weird place to be, but there I am. But this is Sailor Jentle Apricot. Sailor still exists. They just discontinued these inks, which for many, many years were their mainstays. Sailor has gotten into a lot more exotic ink colors, and that was an awful sailboat, so don't tell Pierre Gustafson I drew that. But anyway, they got into more colors, smaller bottles. I've realized as I'm trying to use up all these inks that why did I buy them? Don't know. Smaller bottles can be a good thing. This is my Parker Duofold. For many years, I wanted one. I was a little disappointed when I found out that they are cartridge converter pens, but I've gotten over that hurdle because I like it. Is it everything I hoped for? No. But do I like it? Yeah. So this is a Parker Duofold with a fine nib. You wanted to see the nib, didn't you? Somebody said that. I thought I heard. Yeah, very nice gold nib. That's fine. And the ink in it is appropriately enough Parker Quink. Not washable blue. Black. Now, I remember buying this ink and it was called Permanent Black. So somewhere along the line, I guess they got rid of the permanent. And I don't remember that it was particularly permanent back then because I feel like when I would get it wet, it would still run. Anyway, there you be. It's a very nice cooperative black color. Parker's one of those inks that's safe in your vintage pens, just like Callifolio. I've heard Waterman inks are safe. Lamy, probably all your mainline ones, Pelikan, Schaefer. Those are usually pretty safe. It's your more exotic ones like your Noodlers. I don't know if I'd trust Robert Oster. I don't actually know about De Atramentis either. Oh, I'm trying to think of a picture. I don't have one. So, I was in a store basically killing time before my wisdom tooth surgery, and I saw but did not buy a dip pen. It was a dip fountain pen. Why didn't I buy it? Not a dip pen, desk pen. Wow. Why didn't I buy it? Because I like my pens to be portable. I don't have a lot of use for a pen that only sits on my desk. Actually, a lot of the long form writing I do doesn't happen at my desk. So it doesn't make sense to have a desk pen. This is my Conklin word gauge. You saw the video of this week. I was trying out the replacement camera for the one that died. I'm filming this ahead of my upcoming trip. So as you see it, I'm home from the trip. But I went to Valley City for a class and was going to film some video there, and the camera didn't work. And boy, was I not happy. So anyway, I tried out the replacement for that camera with this pen this week. And I also did the PenBBS. So if the footage wasn't up to my usual standards, that's why. And don't worry, we'll be back to the normal setup. This is the last bit of my red, which brand? De Atramentis. Red Roses. It's a scented ink. A very nice red color. I could probably take or leave the rose scent. But I do appreciate the color. A little bit of line variation on this nib. And since it's a scented ink, let's draw, or try to draw, a nose. And they gotta have eyes. And if you got eyes, you got to have an iris. If you have an iris, you better have a pupil. And I guess we'd better have some eyelashes. Well, could have been worse. All right, back to whatever I decide to film at my class. All right, so I've made it to West Fargo from my room. And when a teacher goes to a conference, we're not exactly wined and dined. So I'll show you what the room I'm staying in looks like. So, oh, wow. This is nicer than my living room. A way bigger TV. It even knows who I am. And I guess I have a coffee maker and ice and water and all that stuff. I've got a bed. I think it's bigger than my bed. Pretty sure it is. So, I mean, wow. And huge wardrobe, and we got to see what the view is out here once I figure out where the opening thing is. All right. I'm not sure if that's west. I'm guessing that has to be West Fargo. No, I take that back. I'll bet that's a middle school here in West Fargo. I'm looking at the size of the bleachers and just comparing it to the size of our bleachers where I teach. And where I teach is definitely a lot smaller than West Fargo. So, yeah, and we're in a semi-residential area. I won't say semi, a very residential area, a very new residential area. So, my big hope is that the car doesn't get towed. Somebody's going to see my elderly Toyota Camry covered with all the dirt from all the gravel roads I drive out there and say, oh, that doesn't belong in a place this nice. Let's get it out of here. So, yeah, I hope it's still there tomorrow. But anyway, that's where I'm staying, is in West Fargo, North Dakota, which, believe it or not, is west of Fargo. It's about as original a name as Valley City, where I stayed a week or two ago. So, fun fact about my house, the furniture in my house is old. I got it in 1999. It was actually purchased by my landlord at the time. And the only reason I have it is because when I moved out, somebody moving into the house had furniture of her own she wanted. And he's like, well, what do I do with this? And I said, hey. So I have it still. When I replace that furniture, which is coming, I don't know what this thing is called, but this extended part of the couch, I want one. This is kind of sweet. My only real complaint, if I was making fantasy furniture, is I do kind of wish it, had some support for my head. But other than that, it is kind of nice. Last couple of nights I've had to sleep. I'm supposed to sleep kind of sitting up, and the dentist said, well, sleep in your recliner. I'm like, well, funny fact, I don't actually have a recliner. So what I was sleeping is, I was sleeping in my bed, but I was propping up pillows, and I thought, well, we'll keep my head semi-upright, which my neck didn't like. But I'm through those couple of days now because I had wisdom tooth surgery. And I guess it has to drain, and if you're horizontal, it doesn't drain. I know my first night of being fully horizontal the way I like was not one of the nicer mornings of waking up. I had to blow my nose, and it was blood, and yeah, it was great. But, yeah, I'm still taking an antibiotic, so I have to take that twice a day till it's all used up. And, some things like the pain medicine I wasn't taking, antibiotics are different. Take them till they're gone, whatever the doctor prescribes, because you want to make sure you kill it all, and you want to make sure, you don't evolve a stronger species because the strongest ones have survived. So, yeah, I'm taking, is it amoxicillin? I think it's amoxicillin. Anyway, so taking that for a few more days. I think by this weekend I'll be through it. Part of the reason, part of it's because I had my wisdom teeth out, but one of my wisdom teeth poked into one of my sinuses, so I do have to go back to Rapid City to get that checked on to make sure it heals properly. But anyway, I am going to relax. I don't do TV when I'm in a motel, but I've got my laptop. I've got a lot of comments to catch up on YouTube. Thought I was going to go take a walk, but man, I'm stretching my feet out instead of sitting in a car for the last 6 flipping hours. It feels really good. So I think the walk is going to wait till tomorrow morning. And so we'll respond to some comments on YouTube and hit the sack. And then I got my class tomorrow over in Casselton, home of the squirrels. This is not a Casselton shirt, sorry. It's not a Casselton shirt. But anyway, but I was headed somewhere there, and then the cough came up and it's gone, so we'll just have to save that for later. But I don't know if I'm going to make this part of Pens in Use or its own thing, so we'll just have to see. Maybe I'll take this for a walk around West Fargo and just explore. Well, I'll have to tell you about West Fargo when I'm further away. All right, I'm in the elevator. It's about 5 in the morning. We're going to go for a walk around West Fargo. Breakfast. Morning. I took that footage of the hotel lobby and kind of forgot there'd be a guy sitting at the desk. That was awkward. I usually try to keep people out of these videos unless they want to be in them. So I edited him out, but still, very nice place. Over yonder, that big building standing up there, this is, you might see it says Sanford. That is the Fargo Hospital, the new Fargo Hospital. And then there's some other buildings. And yeah, I think we got the beginnings of an okay sunrise. And yeah, here's the school. I'm going to find out if it's a middle school or a high school. Kind of a nice patio behind the hotel. Maybe I'll sit out there tonight if the mosquitoes aren't bad. And yeah, it's a tall one. That's why there's a elevator. I actually was thinking about walking down the stairs because I often do that. I just didn't see where they were, and then it turned out they were way out of the way for where I was going, so I just, I'll take the elevator. So I guess I'm all set if my wisdom teeth turn out to be a problem while I'm on the road. And this is right beside the hotel. So I took a coding class in Fargo many years ago, and the people putting on the class asked all of us students over to the Blarney Stone. They said it's an authentic Irish pub. I don't know. This is right beside the hotel again, but I don't know if that's an authentic Irish pub. So a sidewalk like this intentionally adds miles. I don't know if it makes the walking that much better. I like a wandering path, but usually if it's wandering for a reason, not because the guy laying the cement was drunk while he laid it, I don't know. I realize it's intentional, but it just is odd. There's actually some urban design stuff about making streets intentionally narrower and more windy just to slow traffic down. You know, rather than this 4-lane mess that's out here. This isn't as bad as some places I've stayed, but you know, you can authentically slow people down. But this sidewalk thing is just silly. Now give it a reason, and maybe when the trees grow up it'll be more of a reason, but it's just not there right now. So many of these houses in West Fargo are new. West Fargo was actually built west of Fargo because it was a small town west of Fargo. You know, now it's really big, and you can't tell when you go from Fargo to West Fargo. In fact, West Fargo gets a lot of tax dollars because Fargo bled so far into West Fargo. And, you know, I guess it'll develop into something right now. Right now, it just seems like a, I don't know, bedroom community, a bunch of new houses with no soul to it, something like that. I actually had the chance. I didn't apply for it, but you know, I did think about it. West Fargo had a position open. They were looking for a physics/chemistry teacher. I honestly did think about it because, I mean, my degree is in physics and I love teaching chemistry. I just thought that'd be kind of an ideal job. But then I thought, but do I gain? You know, I have to live in West Fargo for one thing, and I just couldn't see where I gained enough by taking that job. And I'm not bragging here, but I'm one of the, whoops, got my hand in front of the camera. I'm not bragging here, but I am one of the few people in North Dakota that is teaching that actually has a physics degree, physics background. There's others, but last time I heard there's only 5 of us, and I think a couple of them have retired. I couldn't see myself living in West Fargo, and just walking here, I'm thinking, yeah. I mean, you'd get used to it, you'd be happy, but because you can be happy anywhere. I shouldn't say anywhere, but you know, within reason, you can be happy anywhere. All right, so question answered. This is the Cheney Middle School as part of the West Fargo Public Schools. I don't know if that means Dick Cheney or a local Cheney. No idea. For all I know, it's Lynn Cheney, but anyway. So I kind of got bored with that street, so I turned partly to see the sign, partly because a lot of traffic on that street. So this one has less street. We're getting into a more residential area. Of course, this is privacy fence. I don't know if it belongs to the city or the developer or what. Does it block noise? I noticed all the houses, a lot of them were more apartments along the street I was walking on, had this behind them. And cars make a lot of noise. Traffic. You know, that truck just went by. If they're going slow, it doesn't matter because even the tires on the road make a lot of noise. A couple of years ago, I took a class at the Dickinson Middle School, and one of the teachers that I remarked that, wow, their parking lot is so small. I'm like, well, it's a middle school. I'm pretty sure most of them don't drive. For about 5 seconds I got excited. I thought I saw a little free library, but there are mailboxes on both sides of this street, so the post office must run up and down the street. I mention that because the post office runs right by my house, but I don't get to have a mailbox. With one or two very narrow exceptions, I'm not a fan of watering lawns. But I see even here in the east end of the state, that's a thing. Shouldn't be surprised, but there it is. And I think I'm gonna walk up this street. See if I can get the police called on me or something. Okay, changed my mind. And there's a security camera in use, so. Oh, and no school pickup here. Okay, so I've got an amount of time I walk in the morning. I might be in trouble because if these are all private drives, I might be out of luck. And just from the trees, you can tell how young this neighborhood is. And where are the mature trees? Well, there wouldn't be any because it's new. This was probably farmland when I moved to North Dakota years ago. Wait, when did I move to North Dakota? How about fall of 1999? Yeah, back then you could tell the difference between Fargo and West Fargo. You might notice this is a little jerky. I thought I brought my gimbal with me, and I just realized I did. It's sitting on my car seat. I didn't take it into the motel room. Holy cow. So all my searching this morning going, oh, how could you forget that? Yeah, it's on the car seat. Doggone it. Woohoo, we found a street I can actually be on. Not a private street. I don't know where it's going to take me though, so we'll find out. And maybe still backtracking. See that? So anyway, private property, so we'll respect it, but this is interesting up ahead. So I'm thinking this is a flood control measure. Don't know, but that's my guess. They all have very nice backyards. I don't know if anybody actually gardens. Are these managed by the property owner? I don't know. Inquiring minds have questions. Again, is all this mowed by the property owner? Is this mowed by the person in the home? I have questions. I think what's bothering me most here is I hear the interstate traffic, and I'm well back from the interstate. It means it's never quiet here. That would bother me. I met a lady while I was walking there. We both noticed a sprinkler that was fountaining into the street, and she said, oh, I better send that to the president, because she was filming it with her camera. So I guess that was a homeowners association area. And then I came out the end of the sidewalk and it was gated. You needed a remote to get through the gate. So I guess I walked through a private neighborhood. So we'll see if I get arrested for posting this video. Anyway, back in the hotel. Well, we'll see what comes next. I think we'll put some Casselton into this and we'll just see what I make. Just a quick fun thing about my car. Don't worry about the lights, they don't mean anything. So while traveling, let's try that again, there we go. While traveling, the odometer turned over 250,000 miles. She's still going strong. So Central Cass School District, because there's several school districts in Cass County, and then that's the middle and high school area. And I'm somewhere behind, way behind where it says Central Cass School District. It is all one building, but quite a lot larger than the one I teach in. And yeah, it's kind of at the head of Main Street. Well, not the head of Main Street, but pretty much the main drive through town is where you'll see it. Oh, who parked that piece of crap here in their nice parking lot? I just crossed the street because I wanted a closer look at this. Parker. No date on it. There you go. So the plan tonight, after my class, I'm going to head to Carrington, North Dakota. I'm going to spend the night there because, well, partly because I wanted to work on those small town videos. And there's a couple of small towns that kind of got short shrift last time. One of the towns got totally skipped because well, there was something going on in that town at that time, and nothing bad, just a big celebration, and I didn't want to be walking around filming during that. So I'm going to hit that town this time, and then get a couple of towns that got short shrift, because toward the end of that, after you hit a few, you start to take shortcuts, and you know, maybe I should be less ambitious when I do this stuff. But you know, it's how often do you get on Highway 200? So, you know, maybe multiple visits will see stuff. And I'll swoop through the other small towns that I toured on that one, you know, maybe just in case they maybe needed a little more attention than I gave them. I'm headed back to the school on a different street than I walked up on. Because, yeah, it's getting a lot more traffic, and that's no fun for my audio. And, yeah, I'm a little early. I wanted to walk. I didn't want to walk in West Fargo, and I could have set my hotel room in red, but I guess I can sit in my car and read, or who knows, maybe the school will be opened up. I can wander around in there. I'm a little leery about doing footage inside somebody else's school, so I might not. Might try and get a squirrel picture or something, because they are the Casselton Central Cast squirrels. Hard to see it behind all the trees here. Yeah, I'll just walk closer, who cares? There's a Presbyterian church in town. When they need a pastor, well, I won't say it. Anyway, they yeah, kind of a modernish brick building with grass and a little parking. It's crazy, whenever I switch the camera, it makes the camera rotate also. I switch from front to back, but it's starting to sprinkle, so maybe it's just as well I'm almost back to the school. Switch the camera and the gimbal rotated again. But anyway, here we are back at the school. 2 more vehicles. Maybe I'll be able to go in. Pretty big school. I mean, it's not huge, but it's pretty big. If videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. And hey, I'm going to share a little bit of my travels. Not this latest week, but I did travel some this latest week. And I'm not going to share my wisdom tooth surgery travels, because that wasn't fun. But anyway, let's dive into it and leave a comment about what you're doing this summer. So those are the pens and inks really I've used the last couple of weeks. Spent way more of it on the road and in cars, and having allergic reactions that I'd planned on. But anyway, look forward. I have a video up. It should come out about the same time as this one, about my visit to Hague, North Dakota. I'm going to try to get one up real soon about a visit to Zeeland, North Dakota. Expect it either next week, or I may just release it sometime this weekend. Hague and Zeeland were both supposed to come out last weekend, but like I said, I felt like hell because I had the whole allergy thing going on. And anyway, feel free to leave a comment down below what you've been doing, taking any classes, what summer brings, or some of you in the southern hemisphere, winter is coming. Winter is coming. So I want to thank you for watching. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.